Resolution 090974, authorizing a contract for computer-aided dispatch radio systems. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President and board members. This is a critically important function of our ability to operate. The so-called BDS, the bus dispatch system, is that system which connects the global positioning system information. It tracks where all the vehicles are. It allows us to be able to do all the kinds of information gathering that tells us exactly what is going on in the system. And it is actually in real time. It allows us to be able to provide the information that ultimately feeds in the transit tracker, that which you can access by cell phone to give you actual arrival time, a whole series of other things that are there. Our system, it doesn't seem too old, that is, it was acquired in 1995, but in this world of technology, that means it's ancient and it does need replacement. We have anticipated this over many years. It has been built into our capital budget expenditures, but as you can see, that when ultimately we get out to the full build-out, this is an expensive project. That is the nature of the business. We have gone through a very exhaustive review of all of our capabilities, working very closely with the requirements that are coming to us from the FCC, that is the Federal Communication Commission, in terms of upgrading of our narrowband bus radios by 2013 to the broadband. A whole series of other requirements are a part of what this is about. As I said, also we went through a very exhaustive process of evaluating firms. The firms were both to be able to provide technical services as well as to be able to ultimately provide the equipment. You see there on the table on page 3 of the staff report the evaluation. One firm could not meet the requirements regarding the financial assurance. That is really the equivalent of a performance bond, something that we find to be very important in any kind of these large contracts. And so therefore it was eliminated, and then as we evaluated the other two, there was a clear winner. So with that, we would urge your approval of this contract to be able to proceed. We'll keep you obviously apprised of the steps as we move forward.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, second. Discussion.
Yeah, question. I'm just looking at a comment letter here, Brett, that we have from Brent Conley.
Yes, I'm
President. The President, apparently they're objecting to the process here. I'm reading your letter, Brett.
I have the letter, and I'd be happy to read it if you'd like.
Are you, Mr.
Well,
Chairman, I'd ask the...
Yeah, why don't you go ahead, come up, and I'll limit the time to 3 minutes, so make good use of it.
This will not take 3 minutes.
Okay.
As you said, my name is Brent Conley, Manager of Business Development for Continental Automotive Systems US Incorporated. Continental was one of the 3 proposers on the CAD-AVL and radio system replacement procurement. Our best and final offer was summarily rejected and disqualified and not afforded further evaluation because we took exception to the letter of credit financial responsibility requirement and offered to provide and or negotiate other safeguards to satisfy TriMet's performance concerns. Since financial responsibility emerged as the predicated and decisive factor regarding the selection of the successful bidder, Continental is seeking assurances that it will meet Section 1.18 of the RFP, which reads, prior to the commencement of the work, contractor shall obtain an irrevocable multiple draw standby letter of credit for the benefit of TriMet. More pointedly, Continental seeks further confirmation that it accepted and is providing without exception or equivocation the terms contained within the TriMet's letter of credit, including but not limited to the amount, duration, and withdrawal criteria. Continental questions how a company that reports roughly $6.2 million in cash on its balance sheet at the end of the second quarter 2009, can obtain a $19 million letter of credit that satisfies TriMet's letter of credit terms. Thanks for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Mr. General Manager.
Tim, can you answer this?
Yes, and probably with some help from
Beth.
So far,
Please use the microphone.
so far we've received all assurances from INIT that they are able to attain the letter of credit. At this point, it's from Commerzbank, which is the second largest bank in Germany, and we have no reason to believe that they will not be able to meet the financial requirements.
When you say they, you're talking about Continental?
No, INIT.
The question that was raised was, of course, is who we are recommending to be able to award the contract to. What's the question?
Mr. Chairman.
Beth, do you want to?
Yes, and just to step back a little bit, business has obviously been an important, the financial component of and the financial stability of the contractor has been important from the beginning. And the RFP requirements were very clear about the letter of credit, the form of it, and the credit rating that was required. And INIT has consistently throughout the process said that they would be able to meet that unequivocally. And what we're hearing from them now is they have a commitment from Commerzbank, as AJ mentioned, and Commerzbank meets the credit quality requirements.
Okay, George?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I'm not so sure I fully understand why, what's the name of the group? Continental took exception to the letter of primary credit financial responsibility. Or is it a major issue that they take exception to it?
I believe that they feel that it's, Frank can speak to this, but I believe that they feel that it's too tight of a requirement and not a normal.
We can't get, at a board level like this, we can't get into a debate between bidders and suppliers and so forth. We've got to rely on staff's ability to have analyzed these, to properly have given everybody fair and equal opportunity. We've always had this, so I really can't go on with a debate back and forth here, but if you have more points that you want to raise, and I want to hear what the board members have to say, we'll do that. So, Bob?
Mr. Chairman, in reading Continental's letter, it states one thing that you have clarified as far as me and my vote, and that is Continental is seeking assurance that INIT will meet Section 1.18 of the RFP. Will they meet that?
Yes.
Okay, Lynn?
Yeah, well, that troubles me that they haven't submitted the letter of credit yet. And if this doesn't jeopardize anything, I move to table this until they do produce the letter of credit.
They're basically have indicated that they want to wait until board approval to have the letter of credit signed. Basically, for financial reasons, it's costing them thousands of dollars a day for the letter of credit. So they were waiting for board approval to sign the letter of credit.
And you expect that to follow our action here?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't see a need to table, Lynn, but you can choose not to support it when we vote.
And let me be absolutely clear. If for some reason they choose not to be able or cannot submit it, we will not be executing the contract.
Correct.
It's not correct. We consider it to be an absolutely critical element.
But from my point of view, the important thing is that all of the criteria that was laid out, everyone had an opportunity to submit their proposals. And based on your review of those proposals, from an unbiased point of view, you concluded that this would be the best contractor.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Bob?
Well, I want to make something perfectly clear. I want it in the record, and that is I'm looking at this bid, and it's about $3 million less than what the next bidder. Cost overruns and all of that. You need to make it clear to them that we don't play that game.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, and maybe I don't know the process, but I would have thought that someone would produce a letter of credit. Maybe I'm
Maybe I
naive.
Yeah, since to that, Mr. Chair, let me add one thing. Could you explain the requirement? Does the requirement say that the letter of credit has to come at a certain time, or you just give it to us whenever you want? Or?
Yes. It's at the time of notice to proceed, which would be after board approval.
Okay.
And that was stated clearly up front.
Yeah, typically, we don't, we always have notices to proceed, but there's a construction project or a whole sort of other things, which really says you have provided the authorization, but before anything happens, we must issue that notice to proceed, and that's really what AJ is referring to. The notice to proceed would not be issued without that letter. That is, in fact, the trigger that would be there.
All right. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Resolution is approved.